to Suits and Sneakers, a series featuring sage advice and candid conversations with seasoned leaders from diverse backgrounds and styles. I'm your host, Carrie Tuttle. With my guests, we deep dive into the areas of team engagement, motivation, and effective performance management. Get ready to be inspired and transform your approach to leadership. Please like, subscribe, or follow to be notified when episodes are released. Let's get started. Today, I have Zahid Junejo, a 30-year financial consulting professional with international perspectives to share. His roles have included vice president at Mashreq Bank and Citigroup Samba in Saudi Arabia and Pakistan, SVP sales at Saudi Home Loans as well. Originally from Pakistan, he studied accounting and economics in his Bachelor of Commerce there, and then went on to do his MBA in Management Information Systems and Marketing. When he first moved to Canada with Western Union, they asked him to scale the business development team in Western Canada, here in Calgary, where I am, and then moved him to Ontario to do the same thing there. Now Zahid teaches at Toronto School of Management and advises people to develop their own careers and pursue their professional dreams with the nonprofit, The Career Foundation. Fun fact, Zahid is a foodie and loves to drive around the countryside with his wife and daughter, and one day stumbled upon the town where he now lives, Paris, Ontario. Zahid, welcome to Suits and Sneakers.
Thank you. Thank you so much for having me on your program.
My pleasure. You know, the first question I like to ask my guests, just because we're called Suits and Sneakers, is what do you like to wear for work?
Even if it is a remote job that I'm doing sometimes, I always wear a suit and tie. But since it's a Friday today, I'm in this attire.
Okay. Sweater and like jeans kind of day.
And since I live in Paris, I've got snow outside and it's cold. So the jacket, tie, t-shirt and jacket makes me a bit, cold. So I'm wearing the sweater today.
Okay, that's fair.
And you and I spoke, I think you and I spoke last week. I was just getting off from my flu. So that is also there.
Oh, yeah, you need a sweater while you're recovering for sure.
Yeah.
Awesome. Well, I am so impressed with all of your experience. And I know you've taken a few teams that went from really like stagnant performance and kind of like stumbling along, and they were underperforming really. And then you've turned them around. Can you tell us about one of them?
Sure. I'm just to let you know, we've started teams with scratch. We've started redeveloping a team, and also my experience, the recent one, which was in Calgary, I had I was working for, like I said, Western Union, and the manager, my boss, he told me that we are going to start from scratch, build a new team and all, but you've got no time. You got to hit the ground running, and you got to have the team trained and established and run and meet the targets as well. So what we did was we started hiring people for the team. So we had traders, we had business development people, we had call center people, and then we had operations team. So we had a team of 13 people, and these 13 people we trained them for a couple of months, January, February, and March we started hitting the ground running. And all of us had agreed to one thing: we will meet our goals in a period of 8 months. So by October, we had met our full year targets. And the reason for doing that was that and this is what I've been doing in my previous teams over here also, we always give ourselves 3 months or at least 2 months to spare, because you never know. People go on vacations, people move on, things happen, what have you. So I give that margin to myself and my team that we go absolutely hard on sales and achieving targets and meeting each other and getting things done and all. And then we rest the rest of the 2 months or 3 months that we have to spare with, so that we can play catch up and what have you.
Yeah, I do the same thing. I always tell people, take your target,
You bet.
divide it by 10, and that's what you want to hit every
That's
month.
what you need. Absolutely.
And then you have buffer, or you can take 2 months off if you already hit it, right? Like that's almost the reward.
Believe me, that's what I did. I called up my boss. I said, I've met my targets. It was September or October. I said, hey boss, I've met my targets. I'm going on a holiday, 30 days. He said, yeah. I went for 30 days.
Yeah.
But I made it a point that all my team members had achieved their targets as well.
Yes.
So that is what I always liked as a team leader to do. it's not only my target that I want to achieve, it's the team target, and each one of us have to achieve those numbers. Then only we are successful.
Mm-hmm. How did you, so along the way, I'm sure there were new reps who were stumbling and struggling with their performance or maybe their mindset. How did you support them?
Well, I've always done this. I walk the talk. Go with them. Don't let them do it on their own. If they are falling behind, if you hold their hands, take them along, show them how it is done, and be with them. And at times, you have to share your prospects with them also. If it is a sales job that you're doing, you share that pipeline with them, because ultimate goal is to reach the organization's objective, reach the team objective. So if I'm helping somebody come up, tomorrow I'll be helped also.
Mm-hmm.
Definitely, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
It's
I
a
love your generosity.
no, it's not. I've always learned this. I've been a member of a networking group called Business Network International. So in BNI, I was taught this thing, and I wish I had known this earlier. Um, if you help someone today, you're bound to be helped down the road. Not by the same person, but somehow you'll be helped, and you will get what you want to get.
Mm-hmm.
So that philosophy or that principle I've applied in all my jobs.
Definitely. Sort of like a karma thing, right?
Absolutely,
Yeah.
absolutely.
Yeah. Very cool. Have you kept in touch with any of those original team members that you worked with at Western Union?
Not only Western Union, starting from Pakistan to Saudi Arabia to Dubai to Canada, we are all in touch. We've got those WhatsApp groups we are sharing, and talking about our careers, our kids, what have happened, where they are now, if they are coming here to Canada for holidays, what have you. We meet, so we've all been in touch. Absolutely. In fact, not only the team, but my team members and
Mm-hmm.
my seniors, we've all kept in touch with each other. It's like a different world we have on the WhatsApp and on the social the media that we have.
Mm-hmm. So going back when you were working in Saudi Arabia and Pakistan, tell me about a team there that was struggling and you were trying to make some changes. More on that in a moment. If you're listening to this episode wishing you can get more out of your team alongside other purpose-driven leaders who want to be more effective, I encourage you to take a look at my program, Leading with Engagement. In it, I provide training and a practice field to gain confidence in communicating expectations that help team members stretch themselves and wow your customers. You'll gain a framework for giving meaningful feedback that motivates and inspires them to engage. Among other skills, you'll learn to delegate and track performance to free up your time to lead more strategically. Go to teammojo.ca for more information. Now, back to the episode. Tell me about a team that was struggling and you were trying to make some changes based on things not going so well.
Absolutely. Couple of things. One in Dubai and one in Saudi Arabia. I'll start with Dubai first. Dubai Mashreq Bank, they called me in when I was working in Saudi Arabia, and they said, we have this team on corporate cash management, and we need to develop our book size and achieve our targets. We've been struggling for the last year and a half. We're not getting the right talent, and those we have are probably not able to go out in the field and do it. Went into that organization, learned understood their products and services, what they were offering on cash management level, and then we started developing a team of individuals from different aspects. Now, I think UAE and all these places, Middle East and all, it's a multicultural environment. So people come from different parts of the world and all. So we started building that team from different parts of the world and making them understand the product and services, then going out with them and meeting the customers and all, uh, having fun at the same time, enjoying knowing the people, walking with them to achieve their targets. This is what we did. So in a period of, I think I was there for, yeah, in a period of 2 to 3 years, we were developing our book size from 0 to 250 million. I mean, it was from zero size book to a 250 million book size on cash management. It was amazing the type of clients we got, the markets we went to, the due diligence that we did. It was all fun, and it was all exciting, and it was all a teamwork.
Wow, that's really cool. And I'm thinking of like I know I've worked in environments where there's been lots of cultural influence from different folks. and I'm sure it was very dynamic. What were sort of like the highlights and lowlights of working with a multicultural team?
You see, it takes time to adjust. That's the low. But what happens after adjusting and knowing different cultures, and especially when you speak a number of languages, like, I speak a few languages. So when we get people from, let's say, India or Pakistan or Bangladesh or, different parts of the world, and we speak in their language, we use those phrases and terms and cultural nuances. We do that even with African, individuals who join our teams. It becomes as if it's their own, home team kind of a atmosphere. And then when you connect with them on a personal level, as a friend, not as a boss, as a friend, then you walk the path with them. It's easy.
You
You got
make
to
it
do it.
sound easy, but some people struggle with it.
I understand, but you got to believe in it, right? So you got to believe in it. You got to know that the purpose that you're trying to do is make them successful. Ultimately, I will be successful, right? So if we take that approach with the team and go along, it always works.
And I think, like this is kind of an old quote, but going back to Stephen Covey, he says, "Seek first to understand." And I think in leadership, that is 100% true.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. How may I help you? I remember you were telling me, you had a few questions, and I've noted those questions down. I've always said this to people, and I apply it to myself also. Number one, never stop asking three things. Why? The question why. Why am I doing this? Why? And how may I help you? And how can this be improved?
Those are great questions.
Believe me, Carrie, my team members today, when they've gone to other companies, when they're doing other career oriented jobs and all, they call me back and they say, "Sir, why is this and why is that? How can I do this?" How so? We still keep in touch. We still answer these whys and how and all of those things, knowing that it is not helping only them, but it is helping me to grow as well.
Hmm. Yeah. So those three questions were, why are we doing this? Or
Why
why
are
am
we
I doing
doing it?
this?
Ask your why. What is your why? What is my why? Why am I
Yes.
doing this, right? And based on that, we come to more whys and we answer those. So it becomes more clear. The path becomes more clearer. And then, how may I help whoever I am trying to help? Whether it's a client, whether it's my team member, whether it's my senior management, whether it's my own personal family, whatever. How may I help anybody? I'll give you a fantastic story on this.
Ooh.
I was in Calgary. I won't name the organization. It's a big oil and gas company, and we were trying to get a hold of the CFO of the country of the company because we wanted to offer them our foreign exchange services of Western Union and all. So after about, I think, a couple of months, I got an appointment, and I was heading to that appointment. I entered the office. I met with, let's call him John. I said, "Hi, John. How are you?" He said, "Zahid, I'll have to cancel this appointment." I said, "Sorry, what happened?" He said, "Look, my wife is on. I think she was taking her daughter to the school or something." He said, "My wife is stuck. The car broke down. I need to reach there, get the daughter, get the wife, drop the daughter to the school, and bring the car to the workshop. So I won't be able to meet you. Let's meet sometime when I have time." I said, "Hold on. Give me a few minutes." Now, this is the art of networking. I picked up my phone. I called up somebody by the name of Carol. She runs an auto workshop in Calgary, Northeast area. I said, "Carol, I've got this client. His car is stuck on such and such address at this location. There's a missus and a daughter there. They need to be dropped off at the school, and the missus needs to go back to home. Can you pick up the car and arrange all of this?" Without blinking an eye, she said, "Yes, I'll handle it. Give me her number. I'll contact and all." I said, "John, this is what has happened. I've already arranged it." He was listening to it. He said, "You're going to do that? I don't know you." I said, "Yeah, I've done it. If you're happy, this is the company name. This is the workshop that they're going to go to." To this date, Carrie, John and I are in contact. We are not customers anymore or service providers anymore, but we still are friends. You see, the more hooks you put on a client through your network and your connections, and you help people out, how may I help? You, it comes around to you.
Yeah. And, I love that story. That was a great story. That is an example of, I think most people would say that's going above and beyond. And yet, on a human level, that's just a nice thing to do.
Oh, it is. And you know what? My point of view was the meeting is already gone. Let me just help this fellow. Right? That was my intent. It wasn't to hook him up and all. That thought comes to you later that, oh, you know, you've got these back of your pocket, you've got these connections and they can help out anybody. I have, believe me, I have helped out CEOs, CFOs saying, I've got my landscaper missed out and I'm fed up with my guy and all. And I bring out a connection. I'm saying, hey, you know what? Try this person out. Try this plumber, try this electrician, try this, try that. And then these guys come back to me saying, hey, you know, this was good job done, man. And we've got that network.
Yeah. Yeah. That makes personal connection, right?
You bet. You bet. And then the third question was, how can this be improved further?
Mm-hmm.
Three questions.
Those are great, great fundamental questions.
You bet.
Yeah.
You bet. That's how you build yourself. And that's how you build your team.
Yeah. Very good. You said there was another story about another team.
Another team, Saudi Arabia. We were doing this. The first mortgage company that started and launched in Saudi Arabia was a tri venture between World Bank and a local bank in Saudi Arabia, and the biggest, land developer in Saudi Arabia. And I was there as the head of sales and originations and all those things. I went in there, so I had my experience from Saudi Arabia and all, from Saudi American Bank and all. Now, Saudi Home Loans, these guys said, come in, build a team. So, can you believe it's a brand new company starting to launch a mortgage service business out there? So I handpicked 83 people to develop the team, the sales team, the regional teams, the provincial teams, and what have you, trained them on the product knowledge, trained them on the sales approach, walked with them. Each province has different, every province, every society has a different culture, nuances, and all, understanding them, applying them, getting those done. We ended up, I'm talking about a year, and I want to say a year and 8 months maximum, because it was less than 2 years, $1 billion book. Zero, 83 team members, $1 billion book, less than 2 years.
That was going to be my next question, was how long it took. And so to do that in under 2 years
Under 2 years.
is quite an undertaking.
And not only that, the management, obviously, we had brought in people from US, from all over the world, the experts in mortgage business, and they were developing this team and all. So HR came around to me saying, these people are new to Saudi Arabia. Can you help them acclimatize, understand the culture, learn the nuances, learn how it is done in Saudi Arabia? So I was teaching my seniors, my colleagues, my peers, as well as I was teaching and training my sales team as well. So it was an awesome 1 year and 8 months. And we were successful.
I'm guessing that it was more than just a job.
Day in, day out.
Yeah.
You bet. And you know why I was able to do that? Because my wife and daughter, they were living in Dubai, and I was working in Saudi Arabia. So, I used to take weekend flights, red eyes, Thursday night. The weekend in Saudi Arabia used to happen Fridays and Saturdays. So Thursday afternoon, I would take my flight to Dubai, UAE, stay with the family Friday and Saturday. Saturday night, midnight, I would take a red eye back to the office. Sunday to Thursday. Work with these guys, work with them, train them, educate them, get the sales running, get the other members settled in the organization and in the place. Not only professionally, but also on a different level, getting them housing done, getting them to know the place, understanding where the restaurants are. I'm a foodie, so I would go out and eat with all of these guys, lunch with all of these guys, party with all of these guys, but at the same time do this.
What would you say, like now I'm so curious culturally, what are some differences doing business there versus doing business here in Canada?
Good point. Excellent question. Language is the biggest barrier. There you speak Arabic. Here we have English as the main language, right? But when you look at the, under the carpet, you've got people speaking Hindi, Punjabi, whatever, different languages, Afrikaans, and what have you. You got to know those little bit so that you can communicate well, and then you get the goal done. Over there also is the same thing. Look, I went to Saudi Arabia. I did not know Arabic language. I did not know that language. And you were asking for a fun fact. I'll tell you, my career today is because of this story that I'm going to tell you. 10 days in Saudi Arabia. I landed there excited. I'm going to build my career and I'm working for Citibank and I'm going to do this and that. 10 days later, I was packing, coming out of the hotel, going to the airport. I've had enough of it. I can't understand the language. The television is all Arabic. I don't know. I don't have friends and everything. I'm alone. I'm going back home. A friend of mine, a family friend, he said he came to see me at the hotel and he saw me packing up and all, bringing the luggage down and all. He said, "What are you doing?" I've had enough. I'm going back home. He took me to his house. He said, "You're not going to go. You're going to stay with me." I stayed with him for 3 months. Those 3 months, Carrie, ended up in 18 years in Saudi Arabia. So that's how you gotta adapt. I say this. I think you had another question when you had asked me what I will say to my younger self. Whenever you ask me this question, I will say adapt and upgrade. You remember Bruce Lee? Bruce Lee said this in a television interview. He said, "Be water, my friend. Be water." Yeah. So when you take a shape of a bottle, you become a bottle. When you take a shape of a cup, it forms the shape of the cup. You spread it on the water on the floor, it spreads. You be water wherever you are. Adapt and upgrade. Adapt and upgrade. That's the lesson that I've learned in my life. Adapt and upgrade. I've relaunched myself 3, 4 times. Different industries, different careers, different. But my teams as well, I've adapted and upgraded them.
When you first moved there, would you call it culture shock?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Culture shock, language shock, the way things happen over there, it's different. Networking, sales, business deals happen in the middle of the night. They don't happen 9 to 5. See, the decision makers meet up later in the night at different locations, at different, they call it, the Arabic word for it is called istiraha. These are points, locations where these business decision makers, owners, they meet and have coffee and discuss business, what have you. And that's where the deals happen.
How do you think that translates to how things are done here?
The learnings and the lessons that you learn from there, you can apply them over here. But obviously, here it's more structured, it's more timed. Here, networking happens. And from 9 to 5, networking happens. At times, when I was a member of FEI, Financial Executives International over here, they used to have these monthly dinners in the evenings and all, networking events, social events, all those. That's where your networking happens. That's where your business happens. So I learned from there, applied it over here also. But obviously, time difference.
Yeah. People still say that a lot of decisions happen on the golf course or happen like other places that are not necessarily in the boardroom. So I think there's got to be a little bit of a parallel there, but I'm sure it is quite different.
So I'll tell you, in Calgary, you got to go to the Scotia Center. You got to go and stay with the dads who are decision makers, but taking their kids out for playing hockey over there. You get my point? Then you got to go with the people who play golf. You got to go kayaking. You got to go rafting. So you got to do that here also. I mean, here in Paris where I live, there's a grand river flowing and people come to rafting over here. I call my clients over here for networking. It's good. By the river, they've got these beautiful restaurants and all, and we sit over there, we talk about business, we talk about and then we get things done and deals done, although we meet in office as well. Yeah.
Yeah, of course, for sure. When you were in Saudi Arabia, if people are socializing in the evening, was it hard to get people to come out and get that sense of togetherness, or was it easier there than it is here?
It's the same, both sides.
Yeah.
You just need to, I need to adapt, right? So I've adapted when I was in Saudi Arabia, evenings, late nights, and all, meeting those people. Here, I've adapted. I don't play golf, but I go to the golf course with these people and I stay with them. Maybe I'm a caddy for someone, or maybe I, go there for lunch or drinks or whatever you. We just go there.
Yeah. Very cool. I love it. We all make mistakes, right? In our career. Looking back, what's a mistake that you made?
I think the mistake, not one, we are humans, we'll make mistakes. Number of times I've made mistakes, but the one of a couple of mistakes that I've made which actually affected my career path was one in Pakistan and one in Saudi Arabia. The move that I made from moving from agricultural industry and then being jobless for a number of years and then finding a finance job with the Citibank people and then moving and rebuilding my career, that happened. That was one with, excuse me, with the I was working for Exxon Chemical over there in Pakistan, and I thought, I've had enough. I'm going to go and find and conquer the world, without realizing I don't have another job, another offer, another alternate, and I just resigned. So that was the first foolish mistake at the age of I want to say 28, 29 that I did.
Would you do it differently if you had the opportunity to redo it?
Absolutely.
Would you?
Like, that's what I'm saying. Adapt and upgrade yourself. Learn from your mistakes. Then going down in Saudi Arabia, a banking career, although it worked out well for me, because again, adapt and upgrade. But going from a banking sector blindly, a leap of faith, coming to Canada without any alternate, without any job, starting from scratch. I knew myself, I believed in myself that I could do it. And I don't want to let people know that, I came in with a job or anything. I didn't. It was your network that worked out. It was your connections that, come and save you or come and help you go back and, in your career path. But I took a blind leap of faith from Saudi Arabia to Canada, not having a job. 10 months without a job.
Did your friends and family there, when you said you were going to move, did they say you're crazy?
They said, yeah, they said that.
Cuckoo.
You bet, you bet. And in fact, it's, well, my family is full of doctors, medical doctors and all. So I'm the only ugly duckling who went into the MBA field, and the rest of them all were doctors and all. And my brother is a heart specialist, what have you. They all said, my brother is in England. He said, "Why don't you come to me?" I said, "No, I'm going to go to Canada." And my other brother, who was in Pakistan, he said, "Why don't you come back? We'll find something for you over here." I said, "No, I'm going to go back to Canada. I'm going to go to Canada, sorry." Because the reason why I did that was, Carrie, you always look at the positive. Look at the you look to advance yourself, to be much more better than what you are. So going back was not an option for me, because I don't know whether you know what is happening in Pakistan, where Pakistan is right now. I could not find any better future or better prospects for my daughter back in Pakistan, in terms of the fact that the careers, then the career path and the education and all. It is there, and people do will ask. I don't want to badmouth that place, but finding better opportunities, having a better ground to start your career was here. So we moved here. Then the other part was, again, for myself and my wife, we wanted a better prospect over here to start a new life and start a new career, start everything from scratch. So we found that over here. Loved Calgary, stayed in Calgary for 10 years, enjoyed it every bit.
Beautiful. Yeah. I think that it's so brave though to leave everything you know and then start over in a new country and know that it's probably permanent, right?
True, very true.
That
In
is.
Saudi Arabia, I did the same thing. You see, that's why I keep on saying that I relaunched myself 4, 5 times from Pakistan to Saudi
Mhm.
Arabia. Did not know the place, did not know the territory, did not know the cultural nuances, did not know anything over there, but I survived 18 years over there. Then I relaunched myself in Dubai. Again, 5, 7 years over there, same issue. Then from there back to Saudi Arabia, from Saudi Arabia back to now to Canada, and in a place like Calgary. I landed here in September, and then November came, and I was knee deep in snow.
And you were probably wondering, what am I doing here?
Absolutely. And my wife woke up in the morning and she said, "We need milk for the little one." And I said, "Okay, I'll go and get it." I go out, there's, knee deep snow. I'm going to the shop to get milk, and I'm thinking, "Are you crazy? What have I done? Am I doing
Yeah.
the right thing?" All of those questions. But now, on hindsight, I think I absolutely did the right thing.
Yeah. Oh, that's wonderful. Zahid, who's a leader who inspired you?
Good question. Many of them, but one of them who has inspired me, I don't know whether he's a leader or not, but I think, um, you know, well, now he is a leader. Have you heard about Imran Khan? He was a sports personality. He was in cricket. Then he went into politics. And in politics, he became the Prime Minister of Pakistan. Currently, he is, behind bars because they have falsely, given him this blame of corruption, what have you. He's fighting all of those. Honest man, and he's done very well for the country. Fantastic philanthropist, and he's developed 3 cancer hospitals in Pakistan. He's running a university in Pakistan. He's done a lot for the country, and then he's given up everything else. He was the playboy image and the hero and the star, married the best of the lot from UK, Jemima Goldsmith and all. And the only thing he's now thriving for and surviving for is the betterment of the country. So that is the person I want to follow, and I do follow him. Then it's our champ, Muhammad Ali, the boxing champion. I love when he says, "Impossible is nothing." Can you imagine, even in the word impossible, it says, "I am possible." So I love that. I love that. I in my speeches, in my talks, when I give lectures, what have you, and mentoring sessions, I always start with that slide of Muhammad Ali saying, "Impossible is just a word; it's nothing." If you look at impossible, it says, "I am possible."
Yeah. Yeah, that's a
These
beautiful
are,
message.
yeah, these are my two favorite leaders that I follow.
I love your positivity.
You got to be positive, otherwise you're going to get bogged down. You got to find opportunity and positivity in every. I don't want to call it a problem or a situation. I want to call it an opportunity.
So, give me a little more advice that you would give to your younger self when you first started in leadership.
I can write a book on that. But to start with, the first one I said was adapt and upgrade.
Yes.
100%. You've got to be water. You've got to upgrade yourself. Otherwise, you'll remain where you are. The other thing I've always said this to myself, and I say it to my juniors when I meet them: never think that you have arrived. Always be in the learning mode. Even if I'm a CEO of a company, even if I'm a senior vice president, even if I run whatever billion-dollar company, and always be in the learning mode. Look at what these guys are doing. Look at what people like all these Elon Musks and Mark Zuckerbergs and all Alibabas of the world are doing. They're all doing the same thing. They're learning every minute, every moment, and they learn and they improve. They learn and they improve. So that's what I say: adapt, upgrade, adapt, upgrade.
Yeah, some of these leaders who are well known and highly visible in the media, love them or hate them, they are always adapting.
Absolutely.
Yeah,
That's how they're successful. And then
definitely.
the 3 famous questions that I told you: never stop asking why, never stop asking how may I help you, never stop asking how can this be improved further. That's how you're going to adapt and improve and upgrade.
What sources do you look at for advice or new ideas or inspiration?
Excellent question, Carrie. Believe me, and again, that's why I'm saying I always have kept in touch with my seniors. I still call them up for any issues that I have. I call my juniors also, those who were reporting to me. "Hey, I've got the situation. What would you have done?" So see what experience tells you. Your supervisors, your seniors, they tell you, okay, handle it this way. Then see what a junior would do in this situation. You'll find it. You'll find your path.
Mm.
And
So
then
you
obviously
ask people mostly, people you know.
you ask, and obviously your elders, your depending on what kind of a issue you are trying to resolve or handle, you always discuss and solve. And then uh, also on a personal note, my home minister is my encyclopedia. She knows everything.
The CEO of the house.
So the CEO, the Google, the finance minister, the martial law, everything.
Wonderful. Well, it's good that you have her in your corner.
Oh, absolutely. She's my best coach.
Yeah, that's great.
And can I add something else to it?
Yes, please.
Because I have said that we adapt and we upgrade. I've always believed in this, and even sometimes I take advice from my daughter.
Hmm?
They know much more than I mean, youngsters, they've seen this world, they've seen the environment, they know it in a different perspective, and they understand it a different way. But when you seek advice from them, you get positivity out of that as well, and you get solid good advice out of them as well.
Hmm. Yeah, and I think what I'm taking away from what you're saying too is that it involves taking the time to ask and to listen.
100%.
Yeah. What's on the horizon for you in 2025?
I told you that I was working with a nonprofit. It's called the Career Foundation. So I'm working with them, and it's such a fantastic sense of achievement that you get when somebody calls you and says, "Sir, thank you. Because of you, I got a new job, or I got a new career, or I got a new whatever." And we are helping all of these, Canadian citizens or permanent residents who are coming into the country and trying to find a new life and trying to find a new career path over here, training them, coaching them, mentoring them, talking to them, understanding what was the reason for them to come here and how to help them, get back to the same career level that they were from back home, wherever they come from. Also developing my own network of employers and finding jobs for them, finding career paths for them. So it helps. I'm right now in a process of matchmaking, right? You see the employer and the employee getting together, matchmaking done, and then they live happily ever after, and that's what your sense of achievement is. Nowadays I'm doing this.
Mm,
I
I
look at
love that.
yeah, look at 2025 doing this, and also whatever I'm doing, coaching, teaching, you name it.
Well, that's wonderful. What other final advice would you give to people listening who are maybe in a state of transition or looking for something different in a leadership career?
Two things: don't take things for granted. Never ever take things for granted. They will not happen. You think that this is how it is. No, it won't happen like that. You got to make it happen. Number one. Number two, learn, adapt, and grow.
Hmm.
Come out of your comfort zone, guys. Whoever it is. I have come out of my comfort zone, like I was telling Carrie, and in this, talk, 4 5 times. And it is not easy, but it is exciting, and you got to take it positively. Believe me, I was thrown out of a Scotia building in Calgary when I was door knocking. I was hired as a business developer for Western Union. So I used to go out door knock on companies, and the security guard on the ground floor saw on the camera that I'm going from floor number 30 to 29 to 28 and dropping my card off to companies and all. So he came up and he said, "Sir, what are you doing?" I said, "I'm looking for this." And I said, "No, sir, you can't do this. You're not supposed to solicit." And he walked me out of the building. But can you imagine, Carrie, that gentleman who walked me out of the building was a security guard and studying to become a finance expert. He's now a controller in one of the oil and gas companies in Calgary. He's a friend of mine. So that's what I'm saying. Take things positively. It will change your life.
I am not surprised at all to hear that you have turned that security guard into a friend.
You got to. I mean, these are we can help each other, right?
Yeah, I love it.
Life is short.
Yeah, and I think just something else that's coming up with some of the stories that you're sharing, sort of a common thread is just the perseverance. You don't give up.
Absolutely. Never give up.
Mm-hmm. Just keep going.
Success is there for you to get.
Yeah. Well, I thank you so much for your time and everything you've shared. And we will share your contact info. So your LinkedIn profile will be in the show notes if people want to get in touch with you.
Absolutely.
And otherwise, enjoy your drives in the countryside.
Absolutely, ma'am. We do. And I think today is one of those days where we've got clear sky. And I think my wife is bored. So I'll have to take her out. So we will go and drive around. And for the audience, thank you so much for your time, for listening to this. I will advise you one more thing: go out and get it. Like she said, persevere, network with everybody, connect with me on LinkedIn. We might help each other.
Thank you so much.
Thank you, ma'am. Take care.
We're glad you joined us for Suits and Sneakers. If you want to be an expert guest, look for the link in the show notes. Don't forget to follow or subscribe to be notified of future episodes.